Hello everybody and welcome into the 6 Hockey Studios. Jaden Ho alongside Jordan Jacklin getting you set for a crucial Game 4 between the Toronto Marlboros and the Mississauga Rebels. We're coming off an absolute thriller in Game 3, and for the Marlies, can that be the turning point of this series?
I think it can, Jaden. It was pretty wild in terms of the swings on both sides, how the momentum shifted. The Marlies thought they had it in the bag, but Tristan Delisle in the final seconds was able to force it into overtime, and they thought their potential hopes of coming back had evaporated, but William Moore found the answer in overtime. They got the goaltending they needed out of Jaden Nelson at the key times, and we're going to have to see if that continues tonight.
And for the Rebels now, you've lost the momentum that you had going into Game 3. What do they need to do to try and replicate their performances in Games 1 and 2 and try and close out this series and put themselves in the GTHL final?
Well, we just need to see less defensive zone turnovers and more so the depth scoring stepping up. Tristan Delisle did have a hat trick in that game, but I want to see a bit more out of Sean Costigan, Maxime Morin, key defensive players, but they do bring some offensive skill sets in their game. I want to see how they respond here and how they could potentially step up in Game 4.
And obviously in the playoffs, goaltending is everything. Jaden Nelson and Daniel Giusti will be in the pipes tonight. And what can we expect from them?
Well, it's definitely going to be fascinating to see how they handle this challenge that's in front of them. For Jaden Nelson now, I think he just has to play his game, not think too much between the ears, and I think honestly we're going to see a really good performance. Daniel Giusti's the one where I wonder how he's going to respond to the pressure, and if he's just going to be able to swiftly move around the net like he usually does, track pucks, or if it's maybe going to be a bit more challenging, especially with the Rebels really just trying to finish the deal here. I'll be fascinated to see how this goes.
Well, the Marlboros aren't dead yet. The Rebels will look to finish them off. That's next from the 6 Hockey. Welcome to Scotiabank Pond as it's Game 4 between the Mississauga Rebels and the Toronto Marlboros, following up a nail-biting Game 3, which the Marlboros took in overtime off of a William Moore game-winning goal. And I'm sure we'll see more great action here tonight as the Marlies once again try to stay alive.
For sure, Jaden, and this is going to be quite the experience here. Just a few days ago, the Marlies almost gave up the series, but were able to come back in overtime to win. They need more here.
And it's the game winner, winning that faceoff back, but good aggression as Ethan Chada stepped in off that faceoff and got a shot away, but the Marlies will survive and try and get the clear out. And now they're up into the center ice area. Along the boards, it's into the offensive zone, and Turner will send it ahead. Now on to the far side, racing onto it is Chada, offside called, as we'll get a whistle just outside the Marley zone.
Ethan Chada really showcasing his straight line speed as we'll have a face-off now on the other end of the ice, as there'll be a power play by the looks of it now for the Toronto Marlboros.
It was a slashing call there as the Rebels got into the offensive zone. Behind the play, a slash, and so a chance for Toronto to take an early lead as they win the face-off, and it's up at the line. Walking the line with it, now it's sent across. Back up top, here's Moore. Moore shoots, and that one deflected wide. Curling back with it, back up top for Moore. Moore holds, drops it off to the near side. Lane across. Back up top, here's Moore. He shoots, and that one deflects to the corner once again. Battle for it as Lane tries to recover the puck, gets it to the line for Moore. Here's Will Moore, gets it down low. Katzen in there looking for it. It comes loose. Here's Katzen into the slot. Shot! Stopped by Giusti. Marley starting a change on the power play. Lane walks the line and sends it across. Then it's back down into the corner around the boards, and the Rebels recover and they'll clear it. Out to center. Not out to center as the Marlies hold the zone. Stepping in with a shot there. And they're turned aside. Sabatini couldn't hold the zone. And so the Rebels will clear and the Marlies get wholesale changes.
And we see already an adjustment made on this Marlies power play. Will Moore quarterbacking it now, facilitating the offense in front of him. And we'll see if that continues throughout the rest of the game with Matthias Stark here sprawling into the zone.
Great speed from Matthias Stark as he carries it through the neutral zone, gets it down to the corner, and they'll battle for it down low, up towards the line, but that evaded the intended receiver, and so the Marlies will reset. 35 seconds to go on the man advantage. And once again, speeding through the neutral zone and losing a stick that time. And now the Rebels will clear it once again. That's past the stick of Sabatini, and That should just about do it. Maybe one last rush as Sabatini picks it up behind the net. 16 seconds to go on the power play. Up come the Marlies through center. So this time slowly onto the near side. Witowski flips it into the corner. Onto it is Joe. Here's Joe. Carries it in behind the net. Joe out for Witowski. Sharp angle shot. Turned aside. Rebound comes behind the goal. Joe carries it around to the corner. He's checked. Stark's in there to support. And the Marlies get it free to the front of the goal, and that one poked away. Holding it in the corner. Joe trying to turn away from pressure. They continue to battle for it, and now it comes loose in behind the net. Trying to cut into the middle there as he's taken down by that check. The Rebels trying to get this out of their zone. Marlies changing again. Now up through center comes Mississauga with speed along the left wing. A sharp angle shot turned aside by Nelson. Now it's cleared off to the side. Drajewska trying to get this one out to center. Can't get it clear of the zone, and now the Marlies will try again. Up through the middle. Tipped ahead by Moore, and now he'll race in after it. Giusti steps out to play, and he gave it away. Drajewska was looking for Moore in front of the net, but he healed that pass as now it's Lane. Up to the line now. DiCarlo walks, sends it across, and a long shot gloved and held by Daniel Giusti.
Well, it's no question that the Toronto Marlies have come to play through the first opening minutes of this Game 4. Head coach Richard Powers really helped his team really counteract the Rebels offense by just playing to their strengths, playing more of a rush, heavy forecheck, high to low, and they're generating lots of shots, trying to just force the Rebels to take as many penalties as they can and really dominate on 5-on-5.
Out through the neutral zone, it's carried by Michael Deck. Deck sent that across. It was picked off. Now he's stepping in with a shot, and that's turned aside. As now it's down low. Battle for it along the end boards. Trying to hold it in there is Lane, and he does. Back into the corner now. Carried wide, trying to get it towards the front of the net. And now it's up at the line. Walking the line is DiCarlo. DiCarlo drops it off. It's reversed back down into the corner. Battle for it along the end boards here. As they take it down to the corner. Stark in there trying to get it free. It comes loose to the front of the net, and the Rebels will get it ahead and into center ice. Up through center, it's chipped in. Sabatini gets control of it. Here's Sabatini ahead, and that one's picked off as Abu Ali tries to get it up into the center ice area, but it's turned back once again. Giusti back behind the net forward. It's picked up by Secco. Secco, long stretch pass, evades everyone. No icing on the play, though, and Gabe Smith has to go back after it. Maxime Morin on him. Sent ahead for Stark, and he's turned back. Smith again. Up into the center, sent across for Witowski out of his reach. And the Rebels go to the attack now. Carried ahead by Moran. Now Abu Ali shoots. Glove. Save Nelson.
And Jaden Nelson gets his first real test of this game. Abu Ali electing, instead of just playing with the puck, he wanted to just fire a high-range slap shot, and ultimately easy stop there for Jaden Nelson. But the Rebels now get an offensive zone face-off and perhaps get a chance to set up formation.
As they win the draw, trying to send it back up to the line. Puck stuck down in that corner as they try and dig it free through that sea of legs. And now it's chipped up the boards. Holding it in the line here is Van Gelder. His shot deflects onto the far corner. Now behind the net with it is Smith. Smith with a long stretch pass, and the Marlies will get it out into the center ice area. Turn right back now as the Rebels start to establish some offensive zone pressure. Sent ahead, and then Caterin couldn't grab that. And the Rebels are right back in. Out into the middle, and a big hit there in the Marlies zone.
That was Jason Joe sprawling back, who was able to gain inside position on the Rebel player and really force him down.
Cutting to the middle is Moore. Moore shoots, rebound, came right out, and Caterin couldn't get a stick on it. Drennan carried it down to the corner, tried to reverse it back up to the point, but now the Rebels are away. Another big collision. The Marlies setting a physical tone here as the Rebels try and get into the offensive zone. To the front, Chata shoots, stopped by Nelson.
The action is picking up at Scotiabank Pond. We saw two big collisions featuring the Marlies there. But it was Ethan Chata in that latest sequence was able to regain possession from the inner slot and just fired a shot 5-hole on Nelson, but was able to make the stop.
As Chata will take the draw here. He had that point-blank chance turned aside, but he's waved out of the face-off. And Chata, I know he will stay in, actually, as it was Michael Deck who looked like he was going to take his place, but the Marlies win it. Sent back by Delelche. And now the Marlies are in. Sent towards the front of the net, and Juicy will grab that and hang on.
Daniel Juicy just playing safe, came all the way out of his crease to make that stop. And the Marlies don't mind just putting it on goal and just looking to win a face-off here. This is the Aiden Lane group who plays a heavy forecheck with Katzen and Stark on the ice, who's been one of their more productive lines so far in these playoffs.
Chance in front of their goal there as Stark got it. Now it's up at the line. Delelche shoots, tipped right on, and that one didn't miss by much. Back in behind the net. Lane has it. Lane tried to center. Had that turned aside. Chata under pressure here from Lane. Lane with a chance, and he couldn't get that past Juicy, and he'll grab it and hang on.
As we mentioned, this is a line that can really play low to high and can work off the cycle. Wasn't able to generate too much quality on that play, but they just want to get more zone time, get pucks on net, and just try to make as many plays as they can as they get players like Moore and Martin on the ice now who can really be threats off the rush or in the zone.
As it's one back down into the corner, the Marlies trying to set up their offensive zone pressure again. Here's DiCarlo at the line. DiCarlo rings it around the boards. Back up towards the point as the Rebels escape the zone here. Right back in come the Marlies as Kieran Witowski races in after it, putting pressure on Turner there. Martin trying to pull this one loose as well. Comes to the line. DiCarlo sends it across. Turnbull shoots, and that one tipped wide of the goal. Poked down to the corner, and Sacco, he's checked, but he manages to send it around the boards. Marlies trying to get it to the front of the net, and whistle goes as I think the puck might have been knocked down with a high stick there.
We'll see a line change now on both sides, and for the Rebels, they've really been hemmed in into the defensive end of the ice and really can't get it out. And for a team that was nearly able to come back to win and sweep the series, they certainly do not look inspired in this first period.
Fired around the boards there by Smith. The Rebels gain possession and can't clear the zone. A good heads-up play there by Joe. Now sends it to the front of the goal, and that chance from a sharp angle didn't miss by much. Out the other way, Rebels are offside there as Freeman couldn't carry it into the zone, and now it's tipped ahead, and Joseph Catterin will race onto it. And Juicy rings it around the boards. Joe holds the zone. To the line, a shot! Stopped by Juicy, rebound there, but Catterin couldn't get a stick on it.
And Willie Moore just comes bursting through the slot, puts a low wrist shot on goal as he knows Joseph Catterin is there to bang home a potential rebound. He fell down awkwardly and wasn't able to get too much on it, but that's what this Will Moore line can generate, and we'll see if Ethan Chata can counteract one of the better two-way players in this GTHL this season.
Moore stepped in to take that draw, but the Rebels win it, and they play it ahead, but that's just a bit too far, and now the Marlies will come right back onto the attack. Cleared towards the line. Across, and then ahead into the neutral zone. Now Moore picks it up. Here's Moore. Leaves it off to the side, and there's a shot gloved and held again by Daniel Juicy.
And one player that I think has been a bit underrated on this Marley squad, Sebastian Delelche. He's a real threat in all three zones, and we just saw he led the rush with a breakout pass and even was able to jump into the rush knowing that his forward would cover for him. Just one of those players that can be sneaky offensively in terms of his skill set.
Face-off will come over to the left of Daniel Juicy in the Rebels zone as it's sent around the boards. And the Rebels will get it out into the center ice area. Tipped ahead. Turnbull trying to take out his man, and he knocks him off the puck. Comes to the opposite corner now. Costigan stepping in to try and keep it in. But the Marlies get it out. Onto the attack, sent towards the front of the net, but that one's knocked down. Matthias Stark was flying towards that crease. And now it's sent in deep by Van Gelder. Rebels gain the puck on the deflection off the end boards. Moran trying to pull this free as DiCarlo reverses it back. The Marlies will slow things down behind their net. Up through the neutral zone. Here comes Matthias Stark. He shoots! And that one deflects to the corner. Batted down low. Here's Stark again. Stark trying to pull this one free, and he does. Sent up to the line. Here's Gabe Smith. He shoots, and that one didn't get through the traffic. Sabatini on the far side now. Matteo Sabatini carries it around. Centering pass. Stark jamming at it. Still loose at the side of the net, and it's cleared away now. And Mississauga will get it up through the middle, and there's a big hit by GTHL near the Toronto bench.
That was bone crushing right there. It was GTHL on Matteo Sabatini, and he had to look up there for a second as we just saw some big hits. Now the Rebels trying to respond in terms of the physical elements.
Maybe an odd man rush here, sent towards the front of the net, but that pass didn't connect as Jeremy Martin was looking for the feed. And now it's Ethan Chada. Chada stops up, lost control for a moment, regains it, cuts to the middle. Chada, long pass across, picked off by Toronto, and they'll get it through the neutral zone. Rebels trying to take it right back in, but it's carried ahead, and now Martin has it. Martin shoots, glove, saved by Juicy.
The Marlies are not afraid to generate rebound chances in front of Daniel Justy's crease. We've now seen that multiple times in the last few minutes. And also just generate some rush opportunities like we saw with Jeremy Martin there, and they're not afraid to have to go for the face-off as William Moreline enters the ice, as they've been very good so far today in executing their face-offs and getting the puck back and playing with it.
One to the line. Delelche across for Drajuska. His one-time shot didn't go. And now comes around. Battle for it along the far side half wall, and it's chipped towards the line and out. Comes Mississauga. They're turned back at center, and right out the other way comes Toronto towards the front of the net, and Caterin had that pass just evade him, but good forecheck. He takes it away from Van Gelder. Toronto's established possession now. They're down low in the offensive zone. Sent out for Delelche. One-time shot. Knocked down. Rebound. Held by Juicy. And a Rebels player dumped after the whistle there. And now we'll see if anything comes of that, as tensions starting to flare here at Scotiabank Pond.
The crowd is certainly getting into the action now as we see Katz and Lane head over into the defensive zone.
And it's going to be a penalty against Toronto here for that shove after the whistle. So a huge opportunity for Mississauga, and that's not a smart penalty to take if you're Toronto. Offensive zone after the whistle, just a undisciplined play. And now the Rebels power play has a chance to go to work. Up at the line. Turner sends it down low. Takes the return pass at the point. Now sends it across. Stepping in, a shot. Turned aside, rebound, loose in front of the net. They jam away at it, and Costigan couldn't get it through. And it'll be cleared down the ice. So a chance for the Marlies to breathe for a moment now. Katzen forechecking shorthanded. And up through the neutral zone comes Mississauga. Turning back with it is Moran. Moran up to the line. Secco couldn't get that one ahead, and it's turned right back into the neutral zone, and Turner will have to turn back. Turner behind the net. Rebels making full wholesale changes as they slowly get things started now. Second power play unit out, but they're turned back, and Drajuska will rifle it down the ice. Back behind the net to play it is Juicy. Reverses it up the boards. Halfway through this man advantage now for Mississauga. Up ahead, and once again it's flipped down the ice. It's the Marlies power play showing their stuff here.
The Rebels are struggling to gain into the offensive zone, and another play there by Luke Trajuska. That's 3 turnovers and takeaways that he's now generated on this shorthanded sequence.
Rebels running out of time here, trying to get things set up. And now it's on the far side, but they can't connect on that pass. No chance, short-handed, as stepping in there was Sabatini, I think. And now over the line, finally the Rebels gain the zone as Michael Deck has it. 8 seconds to go on the power play. Deck down to the corner. Up top, here's Turner. Turner shoots! Knocked down, rebound, and trying to settle that one down. Now a chance the other way. Here's Lev Katzen out of the box. And he couldn't get that one to the net. Rebound is there. Katzen shoots. Turned aside. Rebound. Held by Juicy.
And that was a good example. Lev Katzen just coming right out of the box and stayed with it. Didn't get the initial shot through, but was able to get down and regain possession using his foot to get the puck back to his stick and ultimately is able to draw an offensive zone face-off for Toronto.
As we now await the face-off, we're back at even strength, and Will Moore will take the draw. The Game 2 hero gets it down to the corner, towards the line. Delelche holds it in. Now out come the Rebels. Into center ice, but it's knocked down as Drjuska flips it back in. That took a funny bounce, but Juicy was there to settle it down. Down into the corner, it's Aiden Lane. Lane trying to cut to the front of the net. Rebound comes loose, and Katzen couldn't get it to go. Turning and shooting there. A chance for the Marlies, but they can't convert yet. Juicy standing tall as this puck sent all the way down. Icing against Mississauga.
For the Rebels, they're really playing to survive right now. Didn't really generate any chances on their power play, so the Marlies capitalizing on some momentum now. And there's still time here. They've got Aiden Lane and Lev Katzen out with William Moore, 2 players that can really play a heavy forecheck, while Moore has the skill to get the puck to them, whatever area is needed.
Shot line is out for the Rebels as they try and play out the rest of this period. Moran gets control of it. And he sends it ahead now. Carried up through center. Turning with it is Deck. Deck shoots! And that one's turned aside by Nelson. At the line, here's Secco. Secco is shot, and that one bounces out of play. So 17.2 on the clock. We'll get a face-off.
That was a smart read by Deck to just stop up, look at opportunities in front of him, and try to go blocker side on goaltender Jaden Nelson, and generated a big rebound. Had Chad just been a step closer, perhaps they could have had the game-opening goal, but nonetheless, they draw the offensive zone face-off.
Battle for it along the far side boards as the Rebels can't get it out, can't keep it in, that is, as Toronto now trying to get one last rush in before the end of the period, but icing is going to be called here. 4.2 seconds to go, and you can expect to see the Rebels line up for one-time shots off this face-off here as they try and get a quick one on Nelson before the period ends.
And we'll see how they elect to draw this up. I imagine perhaps they do want Ethan Chada taking the draw. And it looks like they'll just try to win it back.
And now Freeman shoots! That one didn't miss by much as the first period runs out. So after 15, it's scoreless between the Mississauga Rebels and the Toronto Marlboros here at Scotiabank Pond.
And this post-whistle scrum says it all about the pace and tone of this game early on. There's a lot of physicality involved. We've seen a lot of open ice hits in all 3 zones. But nonetheless, it's been relatively low event on both sides. But the Marlies have dictated the pace of play. And Daniel Giusti, as we've seen, has been able to come up with critical stops throughout all games in this series thus far. And he needs to be huge moving forward because the Marlies have all the momentum at the moment.
So we'll get ready for the second period here. And if you're the Mississauga Rebels, what are you doing to try to adjust to this way the Marlboros team is playing?
Well, they have to be careful about deploying Ethan Chada for too long. You have to be comfortable with your depth players who have gotten you to this position. And I would like to see a bit more of Sean Costigan, of Braden Van Gelder, who have been known to be useful in the offensive zone, even in this series, at generating just 5-on-5 offense and net front chances, and just trying to get more plays with the puck. Do not try to play survival. Just try to counteract the Marlies' offensive rush game as much as you can and try to really do whatever you can in the offensive zone. Don't play scared. Just play your game.
As we will return to the ice now for the second period in what is a crucial Game 4. The Mississauga Rebels looking to put these Toronto Marlboros away for good. The Marlies trying to extend their season for one more game. And we're underway here in the second. Scramble on the draw. Good play by Jeremy Martin as he wins that puck ahead. Now he drops it off as Lane tried to get that through. And now the Rebels will gain possession. Cleared up the boards and out to center as Mississauga looks to get their rush started here. Neither team able to solve the goaltenders so far. And Mississauga reverses back with it. Sent up along the right wing boards. And it's in behind the net. Battle for it, and the net comes off as a Rebel came flying in on the forecheck and ran into the post.
That was our first instance of the net really coming off its moorings here at Scotiabank Pond, as we've been playing in other arenas throughout this series. But nonetheless, physicality, as we mentioned, a lot of post-whistle scrums. At this instance, with the Marlies just looking to survive every way they can, they're just trying to get under the Rebel skin and really make that presence known throughout the rest of this period.
And there's a penalty call here. It's against the Marlboros. It's interference here, so a chance once again for the Rebels on the power play. As it's one back and Deck gets it at the line. Now walking the line with it and sent across as Freeman unloaded. Now here's Deck. Sends it across, and that one just out of the reach of Chada. Shot from the point is blocked. And the Marlies will clear the rebound. Out for it is Juicy. He reverses it back. And now it's Tissier on the far side. Tissier sends it across, and that one is a good chance for Delisle. He gets it up top for Deck. Here's Deck. Across for Tissier, down to Delisle. Delisle backhands it down to the corner, but it's picked off and cleared down the ice.
Definitely been a quieter start for Tristan Delisle, who had a hat trick in Game 3 despite the losing effort. I want to see what he can do on this man advantage.
Ethan Chada now curling in, stops up, sends it down to the corner for Freeman. Freeman tried to center, and that one picked off, and now out the other way comes Toronto. Maybe an odd man rush, shorthanded, sent towards the front of the net, but that one's poked away. 45 seconds remaining. As the Rebels try to get their power play started here. Far side, and it's tipped into the corner. Costigan sends it back into his own zone, and the Rebels once again struggling to get set up with the man advantage. Now it's carried in, turning with it is Costigan. Costigan sends it across. Here's Secco. Secco to Turner. Turner shoots, and that one deflects. Rebound loose in front of the goal. And it's poked away to the corner. Here's Secco to Turner again. Turner fires that one. Knocked down by Nelson. Penalties expired now, and the Marlies back to even strength. As that shot knocked down and held by Jaden Nelson.
And the Rebels there in that power play were able to generate some chances, but probably just one too many passes in terms of trying to generate some plays east to west. But nonetheless, the Marlies have been really good on the penalty kill through 2 attempts, have not given the Rebels too much to work with, as we're back on 5-on-5.
As a shot is blocked there from the corner, and now Caterin will try and get this free. Up ahead with it come the Marlies now, trying to carry it around the net. Rubbed out along the boards there by Van Gelder, and that puck bounces up and into the netting.
And the Marlies now get back into the offensive zone. We see Luke Trajewska out there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him shoot the puck whenever called upon. as he's a high volume shooter at the GTHL U16 level.
As now the Marlies carry it down and below the goal line, trying to get their offense set up for the first time in this period. And Deck has it now. Michael Deck sent it across as the Rebels escape the zone. Tissier carried it in. And now it's Drajewska in behind the net for it. Luke Drajewska sent around the boards now. Katerin racing onto it now. Katerin carries it behind the net. A wraparound try. Score! Joseph Katerin buries the wraparound. It's 1-0 Toronto.
And that's just the spark that the Marlies needed to ignite. Joseph Katerin gets it down low and just elected to go for the wraparound chance, and it cleanly beats Daniel Giusti, who moved to his left post, and it looked like it would squeeze through his 5-hole, and nonetheless, it's 61, getting the blue and white on the board in the second.
Now let's see how the Rebels can respond. Remember, they came from behind in Game 3, as that sent towards the front of the net, and Moran couldn't get a shot away. And now the Marlies are out. Up ahead with it comes Moore. William Moore, offside called at the Rebels line.
Now I'll be curious to see how the Rebels respond here. Are they going to be able to really try to allow score effects to get sort of playing here and realize they need to get a hold of this game? Do they not? They really don't want to lose and have to force a Game 5, because suddenly the pressure just continues to mount on them.
And the Marlies are playing like there's no pressure on them right now. It's poked in there by Drennan. Behind the net for it. And it's sent across, knocked down in the middle of the ice. Flipped ahead here as comes around the boards, and Drennan flips it down into the corner. Sent up towards the line and knocked down there as Sabatini got it in deep. Turning with it here is Moore. Moore left it there. A nice move as Drennan tried to cut through the defense, but he had it knocked off his stick. And Moran will flip it down low. Nelson plays it out as the Marlies try and take it onto the attack. Turning with it. Now a long stretch pass up through the neutral zone. Come the Rebels, sent across, and that one was knocked away from Curtis Freeman, who was lurking in the slot. Carried ahead now, dropped off, and there's a shot from Stark that's turned aside. Now Stark has it again. Down low. Long pass up to the point. Here's a chance for Turnbull shooting. That one's gloved down by Giusti.
Matthias Stark is one of those players that we've highlighted throughout this second round series. Just really versatile offensively. He never stops moving in the O zone, whether it's in the slot or just outside of it. Makes himself a shot threat, a pass threat. You never really know when he's on the ice, and he really does it all for this Toronto Marlies team.
As we're just under 5 minutes gone in the middle frame. And the Rebels will get a chance to clear the zone here, but good forecheck by Toronto makes that difficult. Sent ahead for Deschâtelet. Deschâtelet couldn't get it out. They'll try the other side now. Waiting for it is Freeman, but Lane gets it free. A centering pass. Glove saved by Giusti.
And that was a confident stop by Daniel Giusti, getting to the top of his crease there, making the glove save, and just reminding his Rebel squad, hey, I can bail you out, but I want to see you playing the other end of the ice now, as we now see Cal Secco, Oliver Turner out there. Been kind of quiet this series. These are confident offensive players. They just need to get into that zone, try to utilize the speed game more, as they've been forced to just try to get plays back, and they're not playing up to their speed.
As that puck bounced out of play, so we'll get another whistle. 9:34 now in this second period. Marlies up 1-0 off of the Joseph Katerin wraparound goal.
For the Marlies, they're just continuing to try to hem in the Rebels offensively. Let's see if they can continue that here.
As the Rebels flip it ahead, racing after it is Chada. Chada to the net! Stopped by Nelson! Maybe the best chance of the night there for Ethan Chada as it's flipped up the boards, and into the offensive zone comes Toronto now. On the counterattack, Katerin! And he's turned back. Now the other way, the Rebels take it onto the attack. Chada couldn't get onto that quick enough, icing the call.
And the game-breaking talent of Ethan Chada on display, was able to gain a step and ultimately went backhand to forehand, but was unable to beat goaltender Jaden Nelson. He's been solid so far in the limited chances he's faced in Game 4.
As Moore will take the draw. Face-off is one down into the corner here. Flipped out, trying to knock it down there in the neutral zone was Abu Ali, but couldn't get his glove on it. So now the Marlies take it into the offensive zone. Turned over. And the Rebels will try and get onto the counterattack. Once again, turned back at the line, and through the neutral zone comes Toronto. That pass went off a skate. And this will bounce into the bench, so we'll get a face-off.
As we mentioned, we want to see a bit more from Tristan Delisle in this game, who's been the main offensive weapon for this Rebels team, playing with Abu Ali, a guy that can really hem in on the forecheck and be the F1 on any line and really play those tough, rough minutes and try to get the puck back to Delisle.
Sent ahead here by Moore. Speeding through the neutral zone. Here comes Jeremy Martin. Martin to the net. Rebound came loose. They score! Jeremy Martin has doubled the lead for Toronto.
And look at that. It's another wraparound opportunity, this time to the backhand. Jeremy Martin didn't like the initial shot. He goes bound low, back out, and just put it through his backhand, and it beats Daniel Giusti, and suddenly it's a 2-0 lead for these Toronto Marlboros, who suddenly feel like they have a lot of life left in this series.
I wonder if the Marlies think they've found something, maybe through scouting on Daniel Giusti on those wraparounds. Maybe his vision looking back behind the net is something that they wanted to target here, and looks like it's something that's worked a couple of times now, so keep an eye on that, see if the Marlies keep going to those wraparounds as the game and the series progress. As they carried ahead, and Aiden Lane left it there for Stark. Stark trying to cut in through the middle and had that knocked off his stick, and Maxime Morin will carry it out the other way. Here comes Morin. Morin shoots, stopped, rebound, came loose, and no Rebel was there to get it. Sent out front again. Morin was looking for it, but he had it taken away. Now here's Secco. Secco up top. Turner shoots, stopped, rebound, cleared to the line again. Turner holds, sends it across for Secco now. Secco shoots, and that one's deflected. The rebound loose. Nelson hangs on.
And there's no question that is the best shift in the offensive zone we've seen at 5-on-5 from these Mississauga Rebels in this game. And like I said before, it's come from this defensive pairing of Cal Secco and Oliver Turner, who can really move the puck and shoot it in the best areas of the ice to generate rebound opportunities. They were so close, but yet so far. And that's what they just need to focus on, winning the shift. Don't focus too much on the long call. Just try to win each shift when you're on the ice.
And the Rebels are not far away from being right back into this game, but now out the other way comes Joseph Caterin. Here's Caterin on the wing. Caterin, what a move! And he's taken down. So penalty coming here against Mississauga as Joseph Caterin uses his feet to draw the man advantage. Here's Drajuska with a shot from the line. Toronto holding onto the puck on the delayed penalty. Sent out in front, and that one is picked off. So the whistle goes, hooking. The call, it's against the Rebels, and the Marlies will go to the power play.
And Joseph Caterin displaying some high-end skill on that play to draw the penalty, and ultimately that's what you like to see. The creativity ultimately was rewarded there in that sequence, and head coach Richard Power will applaud that for number 61 Joseph Caterin. Already has one goal here in Game 4.
Martin across, a long shot from the point. That's deflected away from the front of the net. Comes right back to Martin. Martin to Moore. Moore off to the side for a one-time shot. And that one missed the net. It's going to ring all the way back down, and Martin will have to go after it. Here's Jeremy Martin. Starting the rush with speed. Martin. Couldn't get that one ahead through center, and the Marlies are turned back here. 30 seconds gone. As they try and get this power play into the offensive zone and set up. Good neutral zone defense here from the Rebels, but now Martin has it to the front of the net, and that one-time shot was deflected away. Lane trying to pull this loose. So it's pinned up along the end boards. The Rebels just trying to waste as much time as they can here. Drajuska Drajuska sends it out for Martin. Martin, he's under a lot of pressure, and the Rebels will get it out, and maybe a 2-on-1 now. Carried up through the neutral zone. Ethan Chata drags, shoots! And Nelson grabbed that one. He'll play the rebound out. So the Marlies take it the other way. Driving wide, carried around, looking for that wraparound there. Now it's sent across. Katzen has it in the corner again. Here's Lev Katzen up towards the point. Here's William Moore. Moore, near side, takes the return pass, and it skips over his stick. And the Marlies will have to regroup in the neutral zone.
Some speed on display there from Lev Katzen. Almost had another wraparound chance, but got the zone entry and was able to set up formation for the Marlies.
As now it's sent up to the line again. Onto the near side. Here's Stark. Stark into the middle. He shoots. He scores! Matthias Stark! It's 3-0 Toronto!
It's a power play goal for number 44, Matthias Stark. Been one of the best players for this Marlies team in this second round playoff series. And they've really put it to bed here. They are trying their best in this game forward to extend the series. And suddenly, the Mississauga Rebels have a large hill to climb now, with 5:16 remaining in the second period.
That's just a great play from Matthias Stark. He cuts to the middle, finds that open lane for a shot, and he rips it past Juicy. And now, the Rebels need 3 to tie this game up. Delisle will take the draw for the Rebels. 5:15 to go, and if you're the Rebels, you'd love a goal in that 5:15 left in this second period. So it's carried ahead here by Toronto. Joe, he's rubbed out along the boards, and the Rebels gain possession. Now it's carried through the neutral zone. GTHL lost it in his feet for a moment, so he's forced to dump it in, and Nelson will stop it behind the net. Marlies trying to go to the attack here. Flipped ahead, and now Seko's back for it. Seko couldn't clear past Katerin. Katerin shoots! And that one's stopped by Juicy.
And for the Rebels now, they just want to try to get some more shifts where they're winning and in the offensive zone, playing with the puck, and just trying to score one more goal. Suddenly it's a 2-goal deficit. Reminder, it was 0-0 heading into the second period, so things can happen quickly in terms of momentum swings. And let's see, though, because this Toronto Marlies team has not slowed down the pace just yet.
As Aiden Lane wins it ahead, trying to send that towards the front of the net, but it was deflected down to the corner. And the Rebels slowing things down in their own zone, trying to get it out to center now. Sent ahead and tipped in, and now Costigan trying to get that one up onto the attack, but he had it poked off his stick, and now Aiden Lane's out the other way. Lane into the offensive zone, sends it down low. Delelche across! They score! It's Katzen! 4-0 Toronto, and sparks fly after that one. But Lev Katzen has buried that pass and made it 4-0 Toronto.
And the referees at this point are going to have to get control of this game, but it was Lev Katzen going to the front of the net, was a beneficiary of a pass right in front of the slot, all alone of Daniel Juicy. And we now see some shoving here. Sean Costigan heading to the penalty box for the Rebels.
And Sean Costigan wanted a piece of Lev Katzen there as he skated by the bench, jawing the entire way. But it's Lev Katzen who has made this 4-0 Toronto. Both teams will take penalties here, and we'll see how they decide to sort it out. It looks like we're going to remain 5-on-5, so they'll be offsetting penalties. And Ethan Chata will take the draw. And the climb for Mississauga getting more difficult all the time. As now getting called off the ice is Tissier.
At this point for the Rebels, they just want to try to score at least one goal. As we know, at some point in the third period, they'll just start running the clock, and they'll pretty much be decided. So the Rebels, if they don't want that to happen, will have to try to find some sort of spark here in the remaining minutes here of the second period.
It just seems that both teams are just trying to figure out who they want on the ice here. As now Will Moore will come out for Toronto. And now he'll head over to the glass and have a chat with the officials. So still things to be sorted here after that Lev Katzin goal and the ensuing wrestling match.
And Will Moore with some different line mates here. You don't usually see him on the ice with Cooper Drennan, but let's see how this goes.
And now the Rebels will get it ahead, trying to get their offense going here in a game that has been all Toronto as this puck's cleared down the ice, and icing will be called against the Marlboros.
For the Rebels now, they still have 4 minutes to work with. They now get an offensive zone face-off. Ethan Chata on the ice. Miocic is one of those blue liners who I think is kind of more underrated in the GTHL. Hasn't been that effective in this series, so let's see what he can do now with a chance maybe we're playing with the puck in the offensive zone.
Up to the line, Miocic. Down into the corner, the return feed for Miocic didn't connect, and now a race for it, and getting there was Van Gelder as William Moore was bearing down on him. And that long pass down the ice for an icing call, so we'll come right back down to the Rebel zone.
Wasn't the best play to make in that moment, but just trying to make a board pass, and the Marlies don't mind that at all, as they'll get back on the ice here. And this Anthony DiCarlo, Nolan Turnbull pairing, really known for just being able to box out players in front of the net using that big frame, and can play offensively when needed.
Comes to the line for Turnbull. Turnbull walks with it. He shoots, and that one's gloved by Giusti. He'll hang on.
The big question will be, do they leave Daniel Giusti in the net going into the third and perhaps go to Russell Mackrell, or do they stick with what had been working the previous few games? That's going to have to be a question that head coach Adrian Milamonico of the Rebels has to ponder.
Well, I think you're thinking at that point, you're starting to think ahead to Game 5 now, and do you want to be shaking your starters' confidence like that going into a do-or-die game as the Rebels take it into the offensive zone, and that pass into the middle didn't connect. Now out the other way, in with speed, it's Joseph Katerin driving the net, stopped by Giusti. And there's a reason to keep him in, as it's sent up towards the line. Turnbull flips it down low. Katerin now in behind the net. Katerin trying to jam this one into the side, as it's still loose, and the Marlies take it out the other way. Out front, Turnbull. And he had that knocked off his stick and cleared out to center. Backhanded ahead by Toronto, as the Rebels start things up from behind their own goal. Flipped in deep. Nelson out to play it. He'll backhand it ahead. Now it's a long stretch pass that's going to evade everyone, and icing called against the Marlboros.
And now the Rebels get another chance here to take an offensive zone face-off. The Tristan Delisle line on the ice with the Chatelet and Abu Ali, along with Freeman. Braden Van Gelder, another one of those players too offensively. Big slap shot, good passer. Let's see what he can do now with this chance. They've really been able to neutralize this line in this game thus far.
Walking the line here is a long shot, knocked down and held by Jaden Nelson.
And Jaden Nelson hasn't had too much to work with, but he's just been very calm and composed and made the saves that are required from him. And that's really been all this team has needed thus far to really will their way back into the series.
As the Marlies get it out into the center ice area, trying to cut in through the middle. A nice move, and that pass across didn't work. And now in the middle, here's Witowski, and he's turned aside by Daniel Giusti at the line now. Battling for it as it comes free in the corner. And the Rebels can't get it out. Sent towards the front of the net, and Giusti gloves that.
And it's been quite clear now. Giusti doing whatever he can to keep his team somewhat in this game, and knowing that if they could score one goal, you never know what could happen, but there'll be another offensive zone face-off with the Matthias Stark line coming back on the ice, along with Jeremy Martin. Real threats in the offensive zone.
As it's chipped up to the line by Toronto, and around the boards it goes. Martin trying to step in on the forecheck there. And now it's ahead. Here's Deck. Deck trying to get that one into the middle, gets it right back. Now a shot from the line, and that one kicked away from the front of the net by Nelson. And now it's up the boards. Marlies trying to escape their zone again, but they're turned back here and Dropping it back is Nelson. Nelson stops up, flips it up the boards. And now it's out the other way, and that one knocked down and held by Jaden Nelson.
Nelson came to the top of his crease there and bodied down that puck. And really has just been able to muster everything that the Rebels have fired on him thus far. Only a few grade A scoring chances for this Mississauga team in this game thus far, and mainly come off rebound opportunities. And they've struggled to really generate that on a consistent basis.
Face-off won back by Toronto. As Stark gets onto it here. Now out the other way. On the near side, the Marlies get it into the center ice area, but they can't gain the offensive zone yet. Turning the other way now, carried ahead is Ethan Chada. Chada centering pass, and that one picked off as Cooper Drennan came back in defense. And now the Marlies onto the attack. We're in the final minute here of the second period, and it's DeChâtelet. DeChâtelet, his pass into open space, turned away by the Marlboros, and they'll take it out of their zone now. Long stretch pass, and carried ahead is Jeremy Martin. Jeremy Martin knocked it into the middle as that one's picked off by Van Gelder, and 30 seconds now to go. Mississauga desperately wanting a goal before the end of this second period as Van Gelder carries it down to the corner. He has it picked off, and now out the other way comes Toronto again. Turning in the neutral zone, carried around, and there's a sharp angle shot. That's blocked. And now the Rebels will send it ahead. Final 10 seconds, sent down the ice, and icing will be called against Mississauga with 7.6 on the clock.
And the Marlies still will get some time here for a quick chance in the offensive zone. Joseph Catterin back on the ice, who opened up the scoring here in Game 4. William Moore as well. Let's see what they can muster up quickly as Catterin moves to the top of the face-off dot.
William Moore will take the draw, but the Rebels win it, and they will just try and hang on to this one for the remainder of this period, and they will as the second period runs out. So after 30 minutes, it's all Toronto here at Scotiabank Pond.
It was a 4-goal period for these Toronto Marlies, and it started with Joseph Catterin, and eventually it really helped with Matthias Stark chipping in, Jeremy Martin chipping in, and Lev Katz. And it's been the depth scoring that's really helped as well. And ultimately, it's a 4-0 game here. With 15 minutes to go, the Rebels really trying to show life, or else this series will be tied once again.
So 15 minutes to play, the Marlies trying to hang on to force Game 5. The Rebels will try and muster a comeback to send the Marlies home for the season. Jaden Hofer, Jordan Jacqueline, and everyone here at the Six Hockey will see you after the break. Welcome back to Scotiabank Pond for the third period here between the Toronto Marlboros and the Mississauga Rebels. It's 4-0 Toronto off of an explosive second period, and they've won the face-off here, carried ahead, and that shot turned aside as Aiden Lane stepped into the offensive zone. Lane battling for it behind the net now. Up with it comes Mississauga. And it's chipped past Smith. He'll turn back, and out to play it is Nelson. Flipped in deep again by the Rebels. Smith sends it across. As the Marlies go to the attack again. Flipped ahead. Now sent around the boards. Up on the near side and unable to control it at the line. And Turner Secco will grab it, but it's offside.
And we'll now see play go back the other way now. The Rebels is really trying to establish some sort of momentum here offensively. Even if they don't win the game or come back, they just want to try to carry in some momentum into Game 5 and start to figure out this counterattack of the Toronto Marlies, who have been able to generate a high volume of turnovers against them thus far.
Marlies can't hold the zone, so now it's across, and Deck has it. Here's Michael Deck trying to get that to the front of the net, but it's picked off, sent to the front again, but Toronto shutting down this Rebels offense pretty handily as Joseph Catterin carries through center now. Catterin flips it around the boards. Stark battling for it, and Van Gelder putting pressure on Katerin now. To the line and a long shot. That deflects wide. As Joe flips it around. Stark on it. Left it there for Katerin. Katerin. Now Stark. Stark under a lot of pressure here. He gets it to the line. DiCarlo shoots. Rebound. Poke to the corner. And the Rebels will get a chance to clear here, but a good forechecking effort again by Toronto. Holds the puck in deep. Stark couldn't keep it in the corner. And now finally the Rebels will clear it down. Icing called. And we'll come all the way back to the Mississauga zone.
And now the Rebels find themselves in the defensive end once again with Will Moore, Kieran Butowski, and Jeremy Martin coming up in front of them. Sean Costigan taking the draw, another responsible two-way center, able to win it back. Let's see if they can get it back out and play with it.
Delelche tried to flip it out. Maybe a chance stepping in here for Moran, but he had his pass poked away. And now Moran has it again in the corner. Moran turning with it. Backhands it up to the line. Secco across to Turner. Here's Turner trying to walk in, but he has that poked off his stick. Witowski will chase after it, but Secco grabs it in the neutral zone and turn things the other way. Up the boards, and whistle goes as that might have hit someone on the bench. So we'll get another whistle and a face-off.
For the Rebels now, the time is not going down yet. So they are very much still. If they just get one more goal, who knows at this point. Remember, the Marlies scored 4 goals in that second period, so nothing's impossible, but it is a tall hill to climb, and at this point, you just want to win the shift. They got Secco and Turner out there who can really move the puck from the back end. Let's see if they can assist here.
Smith got that puck off the draw, sent it across, and Sabatini dumps it in. Back in the corner for it. Toronto picks it up, sent up to the line. And now Tissier. Here's Mikhail Tissier to the front of the net, and that one evaded everyone. Sent around the boards there by Deck. Now in behind the net it comes. Battle for it is Moore trying to work his man over. Stepping up there was Tissier. Now at the line, a long shot from Haslam, and that one didn't get through the traffic in front. Back up top for Haslam. Haslam walks the line, sends it across, another long shot. Knocked down, and now the Rebels will not be able to hold the zone. Toronto gets it free. Marlboros changing. Sent up along the near side. And tipped in deep, but icing will be called against Toronto.
And the Rebels now looking to capitalize on this icing as they head into the offensive zone. Really, the most noticeable Gavin Haslam has looked offensively in this game. He's a player that can get shots through traffic, as he did right there, but Jaden Nelson made the blocker side stop.
So the faceoff's going to come to center ice, as I think there's some miscommunication on the icing. So, face-off on the red line as the Rebels win it, but good pressure wins it back as Aiden Lane takes it onto the attack. Here's Lane sending that one towards the front, but it was swept away. As now the Rebels will get it out to center. Trying to flip it ahead there was DiCarlo. And now Katerin carries it in. Here's Joseph Katerin trying to reverse that back to the front of the net. It's carried around the boards. Flipped ahead as Toronto trying to get it to the front of the net now. Here's Sabatini with a long shot, and that one didn't get through the traffic. Flipped up by Mississauga as they try and go on to the attack. Haven't really been able to establish much offensive zone time as they try to come back in this game. Sent ahead for Joe, offside. He's got to tag up. And now the Rebels are in over the line. A long shot, glove down, and this will be held by Jaden Nelson.
And the Rebels have been unable to beat Nelson thus far. Keep going glove side on him, and he's been able to make the stop with calmness and composure. just coming out of his net slightly. Really swift crease movements for Jaden Nelson thus far.
As Toronto tries to get this one free and get it out through the neutral zone. Nice move there from Witowski, sending it ahead for Stark. Now here comes Cooper Drennan. Drennan to the front of the net. He scores! Matthias Stark has another. It's 5-0 Toronto.
Make it 2 on the game for Matthias Stark. Starting up that rush to gain the zone entry, passed it back to Cooper Drennan and just head right to the front of the net and was able to get his stick there open. As you can hear the shouting from the Marlies bench. Cheers of joy as it's 5-0 now. It's apparent here there will be likely a game 5, but there's still some time left on the clock and the Stark line will come back on the ice.
And now with it being a 5-goal deficit, we'll see if scorekeepers start to run the clock. They do sometimes do that between whistles. As it's carried ahead by Witowski, he shoots, and that one rung up high and wide. The Marlies just not taking their foot off the gas here. Tissier trying to clear the zone, but it's held in by Toronto. Down low, Witowski trying to pull it free, but now the Rebels are out into the neutral zone. Delisle, nice play to knock that pass down, but he's offside and has to tag up, so whistle will go, and they will keep running the clock here. So between whistles, just 9 minutes to go, all in all. So a tall task for these Mississauga Rebels if they want to have any shot at this game, but it's looking more and more like a game 5 will be necessary in this series.
And they're just trying to really establish some sort of momentum, even ramping up the physical elements just to try to get under the Toronto skin a bit. Just try to generate some rush plays. Just try to figure out what they can do for Game 5 to stay alive and not let themselves blow a 2-0 series lead.
Setting the tone in these last few minutes will be essential for Mississauga as they go to the attack. Picked up behind the net by Sabatini. Sabatini up the boards. Over the line comes Toronto. Into the middle with a shot. That one's blocked as Moore couldn't get it to go. In behind the net, slowing it down are the Rebels. Long pass ahead and icing will be called against Mississauga. So we'll come all the way back down to the Rebel zone.
And we'll see a bit of talking there between Abu Ali and it looks like Joseph Caterin. So they have another conversation with the ref there, and we know game management is going to be in effect here with these referees. They do not want it to get out of control in these dying minutes.
Yeah, and in a moment like this, in a bit of a lopsided game, you know that the tensions are going to flare, so the refs will need to be careful here to not let things get out of hand as it's chipped up the boards by Mississauga. Abu Ali trying to get that into the offensive zone. Tissier follows up. Here's Mikhail Tissier. Flips it around the boards. Near side, Van Gelder. Battle for it here. Freeman stepping in to support, but the Marlies get it free. Carried up through center by Caterin. Joseph Caterin flips it down low. Battle for it along the end boards. The Rebels trying to get this one out up the ice. At this point, they're thinking just a goal to finish off this game. Try and shake the Marlies a little bit before time runs out as Haslam carries it in. Nice move by Haslam, but he's knocked off the puck. And now it's picked up behind the net. Katzden. Up into the neutral zone. Carried over the line by Toronto. Dragging it towards the front of the net. That one bounces off the end boards. Rebound came out front. And now turning and shooting his lane. And he had that one deflect away to the corner.
And the Rebels need to do a better job of clearing the front of the net. They're trying to drive to the middle of the ice.
Costigan lost that one, but Rebels regained possession. Turner, his pass to Secco didn't connect. Delelche battling for it. And now it's Matthias Stark. Stark drops it off. Marley's happy to slow things down here as they lead 5-0 in Game 4. That puck bounces up in the air to Joe. Joe will chase after it. Joe battling, and it comes down to Matthias Stark in the corner. Stark is rubbed out, and penalty is going to come here with 5:40 remaining. And the Rebels will send a man to the box.
We'll see who it is in just a moment now as we have players heading towards it. Player entering the penalty box there, so we'll see an assortment of options enter now. We see Catherine on the ice, Witkowski, the second unit here, getting some ice time for the Toronto Marlboros.
So 5:27 to go in this period. Marlies will try and take advantage of a power play there. Got one power play goal so far as Stark holds. Stark leaves it there, takes the return pass, and then right back up top for Sabatini. Sabatini now on the near side. Sabatini gets it again. Sends it to Stark. Stark out front, and that one didn't miss by much as it's flipped down the ice. And out to play it will be Jaden Nelson. Sabatini with it. Up the boards, and that one bounced off the stick of Witkowski and flipped down the ice once again. Here's Sabatini with it, slowly starting things up behind the net on this Marlboros power play. And now it's carried ahead through the neutral zone. It's Jeremy Martin. Martin driving in the lane, gets it to the front of the goal, and that one poked away. Delelche at the line, walks the line, holding it. Delelche onto the near side, back into the corner. Turning with it is Martin. Jeremy Martin up top for Delelche. Delelche drops it off. Now across, here's Martin. Martin back to Delelche, a one-time shot blocked. He gets it right back. Now he sends it down to the corner. Delelche again, holding it, sends it for Martin. Martin curls and shoots, and that one turned aside as the rebound comes to the far side. Drajewska cutting through, sends it down into the corner again. Luke Drajewska walks the line. Here's Drajewska, he shoots, and that one went wide. And the clear will get past Drajewska, so with 25 seconds to go on the man advantage, the Marlies have to regroup as Drajewska picks it up in the neutral zone. Drajewska sends it ahead for Joseph Caterin. Caterin sends it around the boards, and Lane picks it up behind the net. Here's Aiden Lane. Sends it to DiCarlo. Anthony DiCarlo drops it off, sent into the corner now. To the front of the net, that pass picked off. Penalty is over. And Michael Deck steps onto the ice. We're back to 5-on-5. Curling into the middle. That shot stopped. The rebound came loose, but Chada grabs it. And now Deck has it. Toronto couldn't hold the zone there, and that puck bounces out of play, and we get a whistle for another face-off.
Just under 3 minutes to go now here at the Scotiabank Pond. It's a 5-0 game for these Marlies. The Rebels looking at downwards and deflated, but they know that they have to keep their heads up for Game 5, and Ethan Chet is on the ice now. I want to see what he can do, perhaps to try to dominate this shift, as we know he can at any moment.
Things getting chippy there again as we see between Delisle and Lane. They were lined up next to each other on the face-off as Deck carries it in. Michael Deck towards the front of the net, and it's out of the reach of Chada. Now comes down low. Battle for it. Deck in there trying to pull it free. And now Lane. Here's Aiden Lane sending it off to the near side. Caterin. Caterin with a long shot. Deflected away there. Now up to the point. And as the Rebels touch, it's another penalty here. So with under 2 to go, it's another man advantage for Toronto in a 5-0 game here at Scotiabank Pond.
It does look like they're going to send Llewellyn Martin out there with bits of their second unit, as they'll take the ice now. Jason Joe getting an opportunity with the likes of Matthias Stark, Gabe Smith, Martin, and Matteo Sabatini as well on the ice here for the Marlies.
Bit of a mixed bag here for Toronto. On what is essentially a meaningless power play. Smith walks the line, takes the return feed. Smith sends it off for Stark. Stark shoots and scores. Matthias Stark completes the hat trick, and it's 6-0 Toronto.
And just on the far side, wasn't really challenged at all, and it's a hat trick completed for number 44, Matthias Stark, who has really emerged in these GTHL playoffs as a threat at even strength, short-handed, and on the power play, as he proved just there.
Unfortunate timing to finish the hat trick. You can't really celebrate too much when you make it 6-0, but I'm sure he's beyond pleased with how he's played tonight, as he absolutely deserves to be, as Jason Joe chases this puck into the corner. We're in the final 40 seconds. So the Rebels slow things down in their own zone, and they're just gonna hold on to this one as time continues to tick down, and now they'll go on to the attack, try and just get anything before the end of this game. But Smith picks it up, sends it across, down into the corner. Now the Rebels get it again in their own zone. Flipped ahead along the far side, as that one is going to be called for icing, and you can see the officials immediately getting into that corner. They don't want anything happening in these final seconds, and that will do it. So it's a resounding 6-0 win for the Toronto Marlboros, and there will be a Game 5.
Marley's head coach, Richard Power, really came in with a game plan off the top and started in the first period. Although it remained scoreless, they were dictating the 5-on-5 play and ultimately were driving rush chances, were driving rebound chances, and we saw them really learn that they could go wrap around on Daniel Giusti a few times, and then led to a couple of power plays. They were able to score there, and suddenly we have a tied series heading into Game 5 with all momentum on Toronto's side.
And we will be here for Game 5. Jaden Ho for Jordan Jacklin and everyone here at the Six Hockey. We'll see you then.